Cheers, guys. Epix 911, welcome to the Wednesday, September 6th, 2017 edition of VR News. Our first story. Company in the UK, or better referred to probably as an agency, go by the name of Wave. They've had some interesting job advertisements as of late, indicating that Microsoft is going to be having public live display booths where people can try the various Windows mixed reality headsets. That's going to happen between October 20th, which is about 3 days after formal launch of the first of those, and December 30th. What I like about this idea is what we've pretty much said all along, and that is the best way to introduce somebody to VR is to simply have them try it. And yet, just because we've seen a failure like with Rift and Best Buy, that doesn't mean it's not a good idea. It's kind of like Wile E. Coyote in the Roadrunner cartoon. The guy's got some fantastic ideas to capture himself a Roadrunner snack. But due to unforeseen or foreseen variables, the idea fails. Instead of trying it again, addressing those variables, he moves on to a whole new idea when that idea was pretty damn sound. And I think that's the case with these booths. Just because it didn't work at Best Buy, there was probably a reason for that. And hopefully Microsoft, based on that precedence, has done their homework, figures out a way in the UK to make this work. So definitely going to be following that one closely. So that'll be again October 20th through December 30th. Next story, an AIM-supported online shooter that could possibly be for PlayStation VR what Onward was in terms of a first-person VR shooter to PC. A Reddit user by the alias of RedRad56, he's a member of Quiz Night Tonight developer Martin Paul. He's been teasing this project with no name for the past few weeks via subreddit. I've included the link to that in the description below. It is a multiplayer military shooter, pits players against each other in 5v5 battles, described by Upload VR, and based on the pictures, I would agree, as a blend of Call of Duty and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Also reminds them a little of Onward, which most of us know is a simulation-style multiplayer shooter from Downpour, the one-man indie company, which was a surprise success story and was responsible for a form of locomotion still to this day generally referred to as Onward-style locomotion. And our next story, an update for the Oculus Connect 4 event, which is just a little under a month away. We've got an update. This comes via the Oculus website. They've added 12 talks and panels, a couple of interesting ones. First one that piqued my interest, Tripwire Interactive. They're going to be doing a bit of a post-mortem discussing the learning curve for them behind their first virtual reality title. And this one I liked as well. There's going to be another on mobile VR optimization, maximizing Unity performance given the tricky issues with thermal limitations in phones and tablets, etc. And that absolutely is a consideration. You can try to get all the speed out of a given tablet or a phone as you can, but then you risk thermal limitations, and they can be disastrous, up to having a phone basically burst into fire. So no laughing matter, something that's absolutely taken serious by devs, and hopefully something that within the next few months, years, gets addressed. Not just better technology for the phones, but, perhaps ways to do that through programming as well. Next story, a game by the name of Angest. It's from the makers of Finding Monsters, a story-driven adventure. You play as a female cosmonaut, Valentina. You're aboard a spaceship run by an AI named Constantine. You explore the ship in first person, but then start to have your perceptions of reality challenged. And looks pretty interesting. Apparently your actions really flexible in how the narrative moves forward towards the end. Probably implies multiple endings as well. Best thing about this, it's going to be free. If you are a Gear VR owner, you get this title for free. Next game, one called Spark of Light. The developer for that confirming that a PC version is on the way. This is the studio, and we've looked at this game a couple of weeks ago. Developer Pillow's Willow. They released it for the Samsung Gear VR. Really high accolades, positive reviews from people. Well, one of the devs indicated during a tweet that they are in fact working on a PC version. And our last story, guys, and also a bit of a pet peeve of mine, it's the fantasy dwarf. Not just the dwarf of Germanic folklore, but, you know, the modern fantasy dwarf from Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, etc., and the need for all dwarves to speak with a Scottish accent. Usually a terrible one. That sounds nothing like anything from any Scottish city or town.
What? I was a minge here from taking my life. Now you give me the patter of a wench from personnel at manufactory. Didn't he calling us? We'll calling you. You pure mad dafty. Now talk, and didn't you swipe me? Are you giving me the job or not?
Somehow that has frickin' persisted. Well, we've got a game based on the 1983 Tapper style game, which was you serving alcohol and then having to basically catch them as the process of serving people got faster and faster. A few of those types of games already appeared for virtual reality. This one called Taphouse VR. It's from a Finnish studio called Catland Studios. Their pitch for this game, which is for the HTC Vive, is, and this is their quote, kind of like my summer car had a baby with Job Simulator, my summer bar, if you will, end quote. In the trailer, you can see the typical disembodied hand style, serving beer and cocktails to muscle-strapped dwarves, which, as Upload VR puts it, have 19th century facial hair. The only thing you can't tell from the trailer is how these dwarves sound or speak. It seems like it was purposely muted, the trailer, because apparently there's going to be a lot of jokes in it, etc. It's my only hope. Fingers crossed they have a Finnish accent. That'd be probably a little more authentic, but guess we'll find out. Guys, that is it. Hump Day edition, VR news. Can't wait. Couple more days to go. Guys, have a fantastic evening. As always, cheers.